The game.
Hey everybody, it's J.Silver. We're here with
really
Omniscient Viewpoint. We got the spoiler part now. So, I want to go over and kind of talk about and expand a little bit on my previous video. We're going to see some of the art now too, so if you wanted to see what I thought was good art, bad art, etc., we're going to check that out. So, we have here... the main character, right, as I said in the previous video, has knowledge of the world and the events that are transpiring due to the fact that they've read the book already. That they were the only one that finished it. This character is not our main character. This character is the main character of the book that he read. And he is basically the protagonist of the story that was read by our main character. It's kind of confusing. And currently he is on a mission to find our main character because they got separated. Now, as you can see, he is speaking with constellations. They're similar to gods, who are kind of talking to him. I'm breezing through because while this is spoiler, this isn't a chapter review. I'm not trying to give you guys an entire chapter coverage. That's not the point of this. This is just more to give you a sense of the art and a sense of what's going on. And I made 180. I want to kind of talk about as you can see this arc, right? I'm trying to see
grinding or just working.
Sorry, disorienting.
We have and buying orbs.
I would say.
Nice. Just that, nothing else.
Dude, that's
Let's
awesome.
go to 211.
That's fucking dope.
Here.
Yeah, I realized when I saw the spread on my mirror market.
Yeah, so this is, and we're still, this is like really far back, and we're still
pinned at a ceiling of 400. But the spread in between is just super.
So this is probably the
volatile.
end of the arc.
Like it trades in that range, like basically every hour.
Yeah, we have people.
Day. So I just started buying it
we got stuff happening.
Started buying at 350 and selling at 250. Which is like right in between that spread, and it's just been like every time, constantly.
Nice.
They're about to fight. But anyway,
because,
so this is about. I'm just trying to find the
massive
end
orders of
the previous arc.
But then I'd have to walk back to Alva.
This is about the end. So maybe a little bit past this, but not too much.
I just started sizing the order to be exactly like one full
you have
of orbs
177
of augmentation, which is 17.
As the end of this, maybe this is the end of the.
That way I can I can grab it into my inventory and then immediately
save the arc, and then this is kind of the start of the next arc. So you have 183 to 244. That's almost like 60 chapters.
I'm on controller, so I'm hanging out in bed with
one of our main. This is probably the main side character. This guy's probably like if if our main character, if I'm gonna relate this to a really popular manga, you have our main character is Naruto. This is Sasuke, and
yeah, makes sense.
Sasuke has not been in the story for 60 chapters. He's just now kind of showing up, and that's because the story has been, if we really scroll down here, the story's really been focusing on this character. This is our main character. We'll get better visuals here if I scroll down. But for example, this is our main character. But the story's really been focusing on so far this arc, this new character, and this little thing on his shoulder. I'm gonna try not to super kind of go over this, but in my last video I talked about kind of one of my worries, and this is sort of like what I was talking about, is that we have an arc. We've been in it for 60 chapters now. It's mostly focused on two brand new characters. This is sort of a new version of an older character, and we have gotten very little of our entire supporting cast for the previous 200 chapters almost, or 180 chapters, or whatever I said, right? We had 180 chapters with probably the main side character that I had just shown you, and then we have
at some point
there's probably another 4 to 5 like main side characters that we haven't really gotten very much of since for these 60 chapters. So if this type of trend continues, and those 6 side characters, by the way, that outside of Sasuke were also built up slowly. They weren't just like all introduced in the first couple chapters. They were like, it took, probably 50, 60 chapters to get them all kind of online. Some of them even longer, like they were introduced a little later. So if this trend continues, we're gonna have 60 chapters without ever seeing our
WoW was able to get
our main characters again, like our side characters again, because he's just ever evolving, adding new people. Imagine, basically like scans I guess like another example I could give you is, imagine if in One Piece, executing the Straw Hat Pirates were not a crew that were in every arc. Instead, Luffy could go off and meet an all new group of pirates, and you just never saw the Straw Hats for 100 chapters, and then maybe they would pop up again for a couple chapters, and then he goes off, and like right as you start meeting these new characters and you think they're all going to come together, and maybe they do for a little bit, Luffy runs off again and he meets a new group of characters, and everyone else is left again for another 100 chapters. If that continued, right, you would not have the same character development you have for all the other
I got like
Straw Hat Pirates. They would become extremely one-dimensional. You wouldn't get like the season, like the arc building for each of them the same way you currently do.
Max. So hype.
That's what I was talking about in the previous video, essentially. Now, yeah, I don't really have tons of spoilers to give you here. I can give you a little bit more plot information, I guess, that I would feel like is a little interesting if you care about world and you want to try to have an informed viewpoint of what's going on. As you can see with this like creature here, and these guys here, these are non-humanoid. Earth is basically ending. Gods use planets as entertainment. There are creatures that basically stream the end of the world to gods as entertainment, and gods pay money both to like people who are trying to survive the end of the world, and to the beings that are like streaming it to them, and that's like, it's like an industry almost. And the main character kind of knows about the different kind of challenges that are put forward by the streamers to the survivors. So like I think of it as like a global Squid Games almost, where like the entire world is ending, there's monsters everywhere, and there's these like streamers that are like, we'll let you live, but you have to survive this challenge first. And there's a continuous weeding process of survivors, and constellations can pick people who they like and give them special abilities, money, items to help them survive better. It's like kind of like a sponsorship program. Think of like, I don't know, like Hunger Games or something. Obviously, there's other worlds that have gone through this. There's other species that have made it into the wider universe and have survived to some degree, and they have interactions as well with the main cast of characters. So that's kind of a more in-detailed kind of like spoilery progression that you would learn a little bit as you get into the story without giving too much away. I really do, like I said, if any of that kind of sounds familiar, that's actually one of the things I really like about this, is that there's a lot of twists on like on what's going on here. So as an example, the main character has like basically instantaneously changes the plot of the book that he read almost like very drastically due to the very first scenario he was thrust into. That he is like forced to complete or die. So whereas like essentially in that scenario, each group is only one person is allowed to survive, and he changes, like there's a very important side character in his group that he ends up killing. So that drastically changes the plot of the book going forward. So right from the beginning, even though he has this advantage of pre-knowledge, he's already butterfly affected a lot of his knowledge into uselessness. So and he knows that. So he's trying to kind of get the story back on track, while also still trying to make use of as much of the knowledge as he can.
Movie.
So that's like it takes a twist right away of like, normally when there's somebody who has particularly in the future, they use it just to become like as OP as possible, and it's just a version of a power fantasy. In this, it's not really a power fantasy.
So do you want to dodge those?
The side character I showed you, Sasuke, is basically like.
Don't need that. Nothing.
Not all the time, but a lot of the time he's portrayed as a lot more powerful from like a fighting perspective than our main character.
Makes you deal damage?
Because he's the protagonist of the
Daddy Longlegs.
So there's like a very fun, clever twist on things.
The little red dude following me does damage. All these.
Was the only one to finish reading the story. That's
okay. So you just have like a bunch of extra little things.
There's a lot of other people though who also read the story just now.
I mean, I could like run around and shoot, but why do that?
Early parts of the story.
Why shoot when you can just stand in the corner and wait?
Thing that's played out over.
It wasn't standing at the end. Yeah, that was the end.
In a really nice, fresh
kind of. It's finally over.
So that's it. That's my spoiler. Kind of. It's not super spoiler heavy, but it's a it's a decent amount of.
So for this journey, I gotta get 4.
Our main character.
So I gotta run titled bases.
Currently not even on Earth. He's kind of escaped what's called the scenario, which is the streamer's kind of show.
I gotta run
he is now kind of off in his own, doing some things. And this is kind of the start of a new era. Hopefully it looks great.
Streaming this whole time.
Check it out. Like, subscribe.
No, you haven't.
Remember that the anime comes out this spring.
I was assigned
Hope this was informative. If there's any specific anime that you guys wish me to cover, or manga, I'm sorry, not anime, manga or manhwa, let me know in the comments. I'm glad to cover it. If I haven't read it, I'll binge read some of it, give you my initial thoughts. Final verdict, I'd give it probably. I'd give this a B+ or borderline A- in art, and I would give it. I think it's better than the average, but not the best. I give its story probably an A to an A+, and I don't see any major concerns going forward. Again, I harp on things just to kind of explain writing process, my own thought process when I'm trying to learn from things, for my own writing, etc. So don't think of me like talking about side characters becoming one-dimensional as something that's actually happening currently in this story. I don't think that's true. I think that could potentially be an issue later on.
Eliminate veterans at close range.
The author could change his tactics.
I just needed to go.
It's oftentimes the case. So
that's
just something that I would be looking out for.
Oh, I know.
Or trying to avoid.
0% chance.
So anyway, thanks for watching.
I got it.
See you next time. Don't forget to drop, comment,
it's like
what you want me to cover next. Peace.